Hello, my name is Jacob Krol. I go by Jake, and I wanted this channel to actually be about uh, living with mental illness. Uh, my mental illness actually started through a traumatic event. It was not just something that I've always struggled with. I've always been really strong mentally until uh, May 22nd, 2017. Uh, I was very successful at everything I was working on at the time. I had just started up my own chrome plating shop. Uh, to date, I've been in the chrome plating industry for 14 years, but have been transitioning out this year. Uh, since the accident that I had at my shop, I was burned with sulfuric acid, burned 30% of my body. And not only did it burn me, but it also burned my wife, and she too had roughly 30% of her body burned. And so a lot of things have changed since that accident. Um, this year, I began the process of shutting my company down because I couldn't keep it open anymore. We had several people that tried sabotaging the company after the accident. One of them was actually a family member. So a lot of things happened that weren't so positive after the accident either. But depression, anxiety, and PTSD are all mental illness conditions that I struggle with on a regular basis. Uh, this year, in the last couple months, my health has also been going down, and I uh, believe it's all related to the cause of my accident. I now struggle with prostatitis and plantar fasciitis, and I just got diagnosed with colitis also. And I have high hopes that the colitis is not a more serious condition like Crohn's disease or anything like that. I'm hoping it's just an infection that can be taken care of, but I got to see several specialists to find out. But it's really discouraging, constantly getting sick and having health issues. On Thanksgiving this year, I actually lost my temper because of the PTSD and stormed off and disappeared. Nobody could find me. And several hours later, I contacted the police officer that was looking for me, and he took me to the local hospital to get treated. Um, since then, they said that I needed to see a counselor every single week uh, to work on my condition. So it's a challenge to constantly be struggling with depression, anxiety, and PTSD, um, as well as my other health conditions. I'm fighting headaches and migraines a lot. Um, that's something I've struggled with my whole life. It's not something new, but adding it to everything else, it's just one more major burden to bear. But one of the purposes of this channel is that I did not want people to think that they're alone in struggling, especially if it's specifically through a traumatic event that caused their mental illnesses. So I'm here to share my experiences, what I'm going through, what I'm not going through, my successes and my failures. And I'll be trying to post something. Right now I'm thinking every week is my goal, is what I'm thinking. If I decide to do it less, I will definitely post a video saying that I'm changing how often I'm posting. But sometimes I might be a little bit more upbeat, more energetic, a lot more humorous, possibly. Uh, that was me before the accident. A lot more now. I'm a lot more laid back. Uh, Obviously, due to the depression, and so yeah, uh, it'll be a challenge to keep doing videos and sharing everything that's going on in my life. But I hope it gives encouragement to others, and I'll share ideas and beliefs on what I think will help as we go through this channel. I will share all kinds of tricks and tips that I have learned along the way, and hopefully I can be of help to others who are struggling like me. Today, my colitis has definitely flared up, so I'm just taking it easy in bed. So, New Year's Day, I get to lay around the house. So a little bit about what's going on right now. This year, we had to start the process of shutting our company down. I was used to making $1,000 and $1,080 a week, and now I'm bringing home roughly about $400 a week. So it's a big challenge. We lost my wife's Dodge Charger. We lost my, and hers was a 2018. We lost my 2015 Dodge Ram. Our company, our apartment. I lost my emotional support dog. I only had him for 10 months since he was a puppy. That was a challenge in and of itself. Since then, I have got a new emotional support dog. She's got high energy, but she's a great addition to our family. Since my wife and I lost our apartment, we have moved into the basement of her parents' house, so my in-laws, and helping them out where we can, and paying rent as well. I tried working at a casting plant for a few months, but my PTSD eventually flared up and made it impossible for me to keep working there. I was working for just over $14 an hour. I had to work 40 plus hours a week. It was really rough, toxic environment. Most of the leadership staff was aggressive. They like to run the shop in a hammer fashion, just beating down on you and trying to work you through intimidation and threats and stuff like that. And so it was not a fun environment to work in. After I quit that job, it took the longest time I've ever had to look for a job. Usually if I lost a job or quit a job, I'd have a job already lined up within a day. That was not the case. I think it was 3-4 weeks, definitely without a job. And then I started helping my wife with her small startup business that she's been running, a custom branding business for apparel, and I've been helping her a little bit with the marketing. And but through that process, she lost her main store provider over some bogus stuff, and that was a majority of our income right there. So since then, we've been struggling just to make money in that business. Just over a month ago, I started working as a helper to an electrician. I actually enjoy the job. It is laid back. He's an older gentleman in his 60s, so he's seasoned. He's been doing this his whole life, he said, since he was 18. And because of his age, he's been slowing down on some things and taking easier jobs and more residential. Uh, Makes it easier for me personally. I don't think I'd like working in the industrial sector and a ton of commercial. We do some commercial, but majority of it's residential, either new construction or I'm drawing a blank on it, remodeling and troubleshooting and stuff like that for people. And I have definitely really been enjoying that. My dad's an electric engineer, and he kept encouraging me to go for my electrician's uh, license for it, but I was very, very hesitant with it. But this year, on my birthday, December 14th, I decided, I made the decision that I would go for my journeyman's license here in Michigan. And I knew that it was something I could do, more laid back. If I got high enough of my license, then I could run my own company and just do a couple jobs a week, just enough to pay the bills and not have to work too hard, so that I could handle my depression, anxiety, and PTSD a lot better. My boss has been gone for a couple weeks for vacation, so just been kind of laying low, waiting until Monday to come along so I can get back to work. Obviously, because of that, I haven't got any money coming in for these 2 weeks. My wife hasn't been getting too much work, so we've been trying our hand at DoorDash and Uber Eats. Some days we're doing pretty good, other days we're not doing pretty good, but because of both of our health conditions, our mental conditions, we have very low energy, and so we're only out for 2-3 hours at a time when we do it. Here in Muskegon, Michigan, we find that on average we'll make $30-40 in a 2-hour, maybe 3-hour period. Sometimes we've gone as high as $100 one time in one evening, and sometimes we've done $50 to $80 on a few nights. So we're just still on the starts of this, so we're still trying to figure out what days are the best days, what times are the best times. But we find many interesting difficulties along doing that as well. A lot of people don't tip well. They don't give the right directions very well, or my wife's even been given the wrong address, and the person gave somebody else's address, and it's not where he lives. It's like, how do you give the wrong address for where you live? So I don't know, but we're still learning many different things. Trying to think of a couple other things I wanted to share. Sometimes I may look quite a bit scruffy, kind of like today. I actually have an allergic reaction to metal, so shaving is not something I do a lot of. I do have a method where I can shave where it doesn't bother me much at all, from a local company here in town, actually using their soap instead of shaving cream, and definitely works quite well. But because of my health conditions, I would say that it makes me quite lazy, and self-care is not one of my strong suits anymore. So even at that, shaving is not on my high priority list. But hopefully, as things keep progressing, that things like that will get better. But it's just one step at a time. So that's pretty much what's going on for me in a nutshell at this point. I hope to not be having a colitis flare-up on the next video, so I can maybe have a better spot to record my video, and also to keep the monotone like I have today at the down low, and be able to be more energetic and more hand motions maybe, and just more entertaining as a whole. But to conclude, I just want to say that I hope you will learn some good tips from me along the way. One of my greatest characteristics and strong suits is that I never give up. I stand firmly on that through everything I've gone through. I've never considered suicide. A lot of people would, probably, for what I've gone through. My wife struggles with borderline personality disorder, anxiety, and depression. So just with her borderline personality disorder, that is a great burden on me, mentally and emotionally. If you know anything about it, she's a person who lives with heightened emotions because of this condition. So I could just say something that's not supposed to be negative or anything in any way, shape, or form, but with her heightened emotions, she's at 1,000% higher emotional standings than a regular person, and she may blow up at me for something that wasn't supposed to mean anything, like the way she took it. And so I go through a lot. I struggle, and I'm not saying that with my wife's condition that all she ever does is blow up or anything like that, but heightened emotions. So she gets angry really easily, or she gets offended very easily. She's extremely emotional, so she will be really, really, really depressed, or she'll be really, really, really anxious, or she'll be very happy, or very, very emotional where she's just crying. So it's just a roller coaster ride for me. At the same time as trying to provide for us, it's definitely a challenge. But I'm going to go ahead and share my successes here as well as my failures. I believe in the philosophy of failure is success, that no failure is a true failure as long as you learn from your failure and move forward with the plan of not making the exact same mistake again or failure again. So pretty much constantly evolving, kind of like Thomas Edison did with his light bulb. Just kept changing it. He didn't. He never viewed it as a true failure. He found every single failure as one more way of how not to make the light bulb. So I'm going to go ahead and share those successes and failures so that I can move forward without making the same mistakes over and over again, and hopefully to help you not to make the same mistakes I am making or have made. So good luck to you, and I will see you guys next week.